What's up, guys? I'm back again. Today we're going to be reassembling our YZ125 engine. So I've got everything pretty well laid out here. I'll just show you guys what I've got. So as you can see, I've got the cases all Cerakoted and ready to go back together. The gasket surfaces were a little rough. There's still some divots and stuff in them, but as you can see here, like some marks from previous owners attempting to pry it open, I guess. But I've got it smoothed out as evenly as I can with some sandpaper and some blocks of wood and stuff. But I've got the rest of my replacement parts here ready to go. So I've got the hot rods, water pump kit, some new hardware for some of the stuff that was missing, the correct hardware, some fresh dowel pins. I've got a brand new water pump as well, or like a water impeller shaft, flywheel, nut and washer. The other one was chewed up, and just some other odds and ends, clips, and brand new linkage, brand new shift shaft. I went with the bolt engine fastener kit, Pro X piston, Pro X gaskets, YZ crank for the bottom end, and I've also got the hot rods crank bearings. Those are, or not the crank bearings, sorry, the hot rods transmission bearings. I went with the YZ kit. Actually comes with made in Japan OEM style bearings, which is nice. But yeah, the transmission bearings and the crank bearings are all in the freezer, so those things are getting cold. I've got the oven preheated for the cases to go in, so we're going to get these boys up to temperature, and then we should be able to just drop our bearings right in, and we'll go from there. And just like that, we have fresh bearings. Alright guys, so we've got our fresh crankshaft out of the freezer, nice and cold. So we're just going to drop this into the main bearing. Like so. Alright, so I've got some Loctite on the bearing retainers. I'm just going to install those real quick. Alright, so now I'm just going to carefully install the two transmission shafts. And there we go. Alright guys, so now that we have the transmission shafts installed, we're just going to put in the shift forks. So that's the forks. Now we're just going to pop in the drum. Alright guys, so we're going to throw in our dowel pins or our locating clips along with the larger one that has the O-ring. I like to put a little bit of anti-seize on these, just enough to make life easier the next time this thing has to come open. So shoot. Get those in there like that. The larger one was there. Alright guys, so I've got my 3-bond and also just a cheap paintbrush. And I'm just going to put a light amount of gasket, or the 3-bond, whatever you can get that's recommended by your service manual. That's what I'm going to be using on this case half, and then we'll go ahead and put the top case half on. Alright guys, so I've got the 3M gasket all evenly distributed across the mating surfaces of the case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly heat up the inner race of the main bearing with a socket. So I'll basically heat up the socket, and through heat transfer I'll put the socket in the center of the race and just let that bearing heat up a little bit, just so it's a little easier to install the top case half. I have my Tusk crank installer as well, so through all of that we should be fine getting this case half installed. Alright guys, so we're good to put on the other case half. So it looks like we're going to need to use our Tusk tool, which isn't an issue. That's actually going to sit nice and flush there. Well guys, I'm shit out of luck. I don't actually have an adjustable wrench for this here, which is kind of ridiculous now that I think about it. But I'm going to have to go grab one real quick. I'll be back soon. Alright guys, I've got my thumb wrench, so now we're good to snug up this puller. Every once in a while I'll just check the gap, make sure everything's going evenly. Oh shoot. Looking good. Alright, so I've got my fresh bolt motorcycle hardware fasteners put into the cases. So I'm just going to start snugging these down half tight. Well, not tight, but I'm just going to get them snugged to the case surface. And then we'll go around and torque them in a crisscross pattern. Alright, so I've got my torque wrench set to 14 Newton meters. I'm just going to go through and torque all these bolts down. I'm just going to do a little bit of like a quarter turn each time until I get to my torque. Alright guys, we're back at it again. So right now we're just going to start by installing some of the seals on the left side of the case. So we'll be installing the crank seal, the counter seal, and the seal for the shift shaft as well. So I'm going to start by just quickly heating those up with the heat gun, and then we'll slide those in. And there we go. Oh, lost focus there. So we've got the shift seal in, counter seal, main seal. The trick with these is just to install them until they're level with the top of the case, unless your owner's manual specifies otherwise. There we go. Figured while I was heating it up, may as well just pop in this bearing for the governor shaft. And that's the oil seal. Alright guys, that's just gonna about conclude this video. As you can tell, my beard's grown out a little bit more, so I didn't actually film this when I was doing it. It's kind of a change in plans. I was originally going to do all the build in one video, but there's just so much footage, it's gonna have to be 2 to 3 parts. So stay tuned for the next part, and we'll get diving back into this engine and get it looking like this some more. So thank you for watching me doing the bearings, the seals, the crank, the transmission, and we'll be sure to do some more in the next one. So hit that notification button, subscribe, and check me out on Instagram at SelectMX. My name is Alex Tucker. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.